What's up, guys, and welcome back to SCUM. And as promised, we are here in the Irradiated city now. We were kind of over here, but I wanted to start back over this way. It just seems like it makes more sense to go through it this way. So, anyway, here we are on the outskirts. The bridge going to the power plant is right back that way. So, we're gonna see what. Oh, yeah, we got some friendos now. Oh, we got multiple friendos. Okay, so there are more puppet. Oh, we got several friendos. Hmm. So clearly there are more puppets in the city than in the power plant. Oh, that's I forgot. You can't sprint in the hazmat suit. That's really unfortunate. Now, I don't know if these guys have any kind of interesting loot on them or not. Nope. Okay. Now, I don't know how much of these like apartment buildings you can access. Well, excuse you, door. My sincerest apologies. Didn't mean to get in your way, door. Okay, that's just going out the backside there. And I'm not sure what the purpose of those is. Anywho, let's see what we can see. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought, is most of these, or maybe not most, but several of them, are going to be kind of blocked off to where we can't actually access a lot of these. But some of them looks like we can get into. I kind of wish that in this place there was more just kind of stuff around. Not necessarily loot, but just more kind of random stuff. Because if this is modeled off of Pripyat, people were not really even given time to gather much of their belongings before they were evacuated. And so there's still a lot of stuff in there. Just, books, knickknacks, photos, stuff like that. They weren't ever really given a chance to get much of their stuff. Apparently the radiation makes boxes levitate. Interesting. I just think that this place should feel like it's still a little bit more. That's not what I wanted to do at all. Like it's still a little bit more inhabited, even though this has been abandoned for however long. We don't. It does the lore ever say when this happened? But you see, all of this, all the clothing is gone. Everything has been cleared out. But as high as the radiation is here, that really shouldn't be the case. again, if this is modeled as off of Pripyat. Now, how do we get out of here? There we go. Now, obviously, we're not going to explore every apartment building. And again, a lot of them you can't really explore anyway. But we want to at least see what the place is like. Let's see. From up here, can we even get a view of the place to kind of get a better feel of the layout? Because I've only been to this city here once, so I don't really remember where most things are, other than, you know, everything is that way. You know, because we're here, so everything is to the east-southeast of where we are. But there is, like, the park, where you've got, like, the big Ferris wheel and the old, you know, abandoned merry-go-rounds and whatnot that are kind of the iconic looks of, you know, what a lot of people think of when they think of Chernobyl and Pripyat. Now, I'm curious. Well, no, because that's just that staircase. Fair enough. So, yeah, it looks like about 95% of the apartments are just inaccessible. So, not really a whole lot of reason to check these buildings out other than, it's kind of cool to wander around here. But realistically, there's nothing practical here. Okay, let's see. We came in from that direction. Yeah, we came in pretty well straight that way, I believe. Let's see. That building looks a little bit wider. I can't move any faster. That bugs me so much, how slow you are in the hazmat suits. And I'm not real sure why. I think you should still be able to sprint, but it should be maybe more along the lines of you sprint slower. You know, so like compare it to when your character has, you know, a backpack full of stuff. They move slower, but they can still sprint. You know, but you can't do that here with the hazmat suit. And yeah, see, most of these you can't access, so... Like I said, not a whole lot of reason to come into these other than if you just want to wander around the zone here. I do really hope that they add something to this, because there's absolutely no reason to come to the city. You know, like here, there's nothing at all accessible in that section of the building. Nothing at all. So it's I don't know. It seems like they went through a lot of trouble adding this POI, but there's no reason to come here. You know, at the very least, with the reactor building, you can go there for the depleted uranium. But here, there's nothing. There's no reason to come here at all, other than just exploration like what we're doing now. You know, but there's no good loot here, which that would be interesting. If there was actually some good loot here, you'd still have to decontaminate it when you bring it out. But, you know, this place should, in theory, have some decent stuff from the standpoint of it was abandoned very quickly. You know, and so there should still be stuff here. and there's not. And so I feel like that was a missed opportunity, and I feel like the devs realistically kind of wasted this POI. Because one, I'm still upset that it made the campground unusable. That's really unfortunate. And from what I understand from from what a lot of you guys have said, a lot of you guys like the campground too. You know, I mean, it's a cool little POI, and it's practical. But we can't do anything with it because everything's irradiated. So, I don't know. And then there's nothing here in the city. There's no reason to come to the city. Also, in terms of the melee combat with the puppets and whatnot, I really, really hope that at some point they add the ability to stealth kill the puppets. Because, like, you know, when they're not aggroed on you, you should be able to sneak up behind them and, you know, stab them in the back of the head with a knife or, heck, even a screwdriver. You know, I mean, just something other than, oh, they spot you immediately, and then you have to just kill them with regular melee combat. You know. Also, sorry, I'm trying to get back to the quad because we're very slow on foot. And again, a lot of the city is like that. It's just, it's not a lot to actually do here. You know, it's, you come here because, hey, you want to explore, not because there's actually anything here. Where's the quad? Quad. Am I not even in the right? I think the quad may have been this way. God, I hate that you can't sprint with the hazmat suit. That is really, really frustrating. Also, that's apparently why we were so slow on the bicycle. Because you can't sprint. This is as fast as I can move. Which seems a bit ridiculous. There's the quad. Alright. Yeah, Rargabargles. Uh-huh. You do that. That's the problem with the quad, though. It's not nearly as quiet as the bicycle. Let's see. Okay. I think that this whole kind of triangle over here is primarily residential. Oh, you shush. You guys don't need to be following me or pestering me or anything. I'm trying to give a tour here. Now, if you guys have anything to add, that's fine. But if you're just going to sit here and be a bunch of grumpuses, then that's not really being helpful. I mean, you guys are the locals here. How about you guys, you know, tell the folks at home some interesting facts about the area or something? Ow. There we go. But, I mean, you get this same kind of atmosphere from just the big city, you know, over here, what is it, Samobor? You know, you get the same kind of eerie feeling from that place at night when it's foggy. So this place really just doesn't add anything. Other than you can't really even take the loot. I mean, you can, but there's not a lot of reason to. You know? Yeah, this is all just residential. Oh, you shush. Oh, well, this is potentially something. We got a little barbed wire barricade here. And these buildings are a little different. Fire station, sure. Let's check out the fire station. You know, if it's just one of you. Also, I'm curious. Who the hell is keeping these fires going? I would really like to know more of the lore on this place. Just, you know, how long has this place been abandoned? I mean, the reactor building is still on fire. So it probably happened fairly recently. And the radiation level is still through the roof here, so that would also be a good indicator of this being a fairly recent development. And we can't even get through that way. But see, like, in a situation like this, why would that shelf there be moved over to there? This place ought to be, if it's based off of Pripyat, and I keep kind of alluding back to that because it very clearly is, the way that they designed everything here. This is supposed to be Chernobyl and Pripyat. There's a pair of boots. Oh, one of you said that anything that's irradiated should have a little symbol. I think it's over on these. It'll have like a little symbol in the top corner when you turn the Geiger counter on. So that is apparently how you determine whether or not your gear is irradiated or not. I didn't bother paying attention to that when we had the Geiger counter on, so... Oh, wow, this... What happened? There was an explosion here, apparently. Now, is there... I mean, like I said, there's... I don't know what all does, in fact, get irradiated. I thought that was a bear trap for a second. Like, I don't remember there being bear traps in the game. It'd be interesting, though. Now, it'd also be interesting if at some point they give us the ability to get more of the vehicles up and running. You know, like the fire truck's not really necessary for too much. But, like the big flatbed trucks would be really nice for, you know, hauling construction materials. You know, or just something even, you know, like this, if you could, well, those would be a royal pain. Driving one of these would not be, oh, good lord, that's a triple axle too. would not be particularly fun or practical in SCUM. But it would just be nice to have more options for vehicles. I know a few people on the Wolfpack server have mentioned getting stuff like, you know, kind of a sportier, like, muscle car type thing, you know, that it would have less storage space, but would just be more of kind of a fun cruising vehicle that, you know, because we've talked about potentially doing races on the server, you know, just like cross-country races where, you know, you have to try and get to a certain point on the map. And so cars like that would be really fun. I would love to see, like, you know, a lot of people want the SUVs to come back. I absolutely want the SUVs to come back. I never even got to play with the SUVs. Let's see, that looks like more apartment buildings. I'm not sure what this one is, though, so let's check this one out. Oh, you shush. Ow. Ouch. Oh, crap. I forgot we still have their damage turned on. I'm bleeding slightly. That's unfortunate. And their damage is still set to 4x, I believe. Ow. Yeah, if memory serves, I have the puppet's damage set to 4x, but their health is just default. You know, for last season, we had their health doubled and their damage tripled. I think, if memory serves, for Bill and Tommy, originally I had set everything back to default for, like, getting out of the prison because we had absolutely no gear, nothing like that. But after we got out of the prison, I upped their damage again, but left their health at default. And so if memory serves, their damage is quadrupled. Bleeding, injury, bleeding, radiation presence. Oh, good. Now, I don't remember, that may have been from taking off the hazmat gear before. But it may also be that when you get attacked, you know, you get hit by these, especially if they cause a bleeding injury, that may cause radiation. I'm not 100% sure. That would make sense, but I don't know if that's actually the case. Again, I don't really know why I'm checking any of any of this stuff. This is all just generic loot. You know, like I said, I feel like this place was a giant missed opportunity. Okay, this looks like it was just kind of a field hospital. Which means, is this a hospital? I can't get in that way. No, I didn't want to do that, but that's okay. Well. Now, see, something like that, can I... No, I can't even go under that. I hate invisible walls like that. Because, one, that ladder would not weigh much at all. You could very easily scoot that out of the way. Or just shimmy around the side of it here. Or like I was trying to do, it would take nothing to go underneath that. But you can't. So that's unfortunate. Looks like you can probably drop down into the elevator shaft. I don't know if we can get back out, so I'm not going to do it. Oh, good. There we go. Irradiated bottle of water. That's exactly what we want. But see, you can go around it. But so this area is not blocked off. It just you can't do anything about this ladder. So you have to go the long way around rather than just being able to not have to deal with the stupid ladder. That kind of thing doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. And that door you can't get into even though it's already open. Ooh, we got a smacker dude. Now, that's something else I'm curious about. Let's say you bring, like, you grab that baseball bat, yeah? And you take it out of the zone. But you know, and let's say that it is contaminated. Now, if you hit somebody with that baseball bat, will that give them radiation damage? I'd still like to see something done with the cutting boards too, because there's really no purpose for the cutting boards currently. Okay, it's kind of looking like these are either also little, you know, more apartments or maybe just office building. I'm not real sure what this place is. This place is way too cleaned out for having just been abandoned, and then apparently it was bombed or something here. I don't know. It still just seems odd to me that they put this much effort into designing this place to then have it be utterly useless. You know? Good lord, I can't see. Now, we do still have fall damage. Woo, I didn't mean to jump over that ledge. We still have fall damage turned off. So, I may just get us back down out of here a little bit faster. Aha. I'll be honest, doing that actually hurt my knees in real life. my knees felt that. Oh, really? Come on. There we go. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly what that building is supposed to be. It goes on further that way, but again, there's nothing here. There's no reason at all to come to these places or search these buildings. It's just kind of a tourist thing. Oh, you shush over there. Nobody asked you. It's also interesting to me because it seems like they were a little confused about, good lord, I hope you guys can see, about what they wanted this place to be or how old they wanted this place to be. Because everything is overgrown. I mean, there's trees growing up through the road. So clearly this place was meant to be abandoned for a good while. And yet there's still stuff on fire. There's still... Well, heck, there's still electricity. Where is the electricity coming from? Because I guarantee you this entire city was powered by the nuclear plant. But the reactor exploded, so where is this electricity coming from? It does not make sense. Also, good lord, I can't see a damn thing. Okay. Southeast. Okay, so we're just on this main road here. So, I don't know what all is off to our left here. Let's go check that out, I guess, while we're over here. Hey! Okay, so here's a small park, anyway. So this is probably also apartment buildings. I mean, the reality is that's kind of what Pripyat was. It was mostly like kind of living quarters for the families that worked at the power plant. Yeah, how are these still active unless they're just glowing from radiation? But I mean, this is, this here's a little tiny park, which this right here is creepy. You know, this right here feels like something out of Silent Hill. You know. Also, as far as wandering around in a place like this, not that we're really going to come back here in the future, most likely. But do you guys prefer the third person for this or first person where you've got the gas mask view? Obviously, for driving, we have to use third person. I mean, we don't have to, but first person driving in SCUM is just horrendous. You have absolutely no sense of spatial awareness. God, the fog is so damn thick through here that I can't see anything off in the distance to kind of figure out what direction we should go to see the most interesting stuff. This looks like it's all still just residential. Yeah, so this whole block up here is also probably just residential. So this is all residential, this is all residential, this is probably all residential. This here in the middle may kind of be the kind of park area, which is really the most interesting. Oh, is it going to start raining too? Yep. Fantastic. Now, that's something else with this game. It doesn't take into account the fact that the reactor is still burning. None of this is getting cleaned up. There's nothing stopping any of this. One of the big issues with what happened at Chernobyl is, they had to scramble to get the situation contained, because if they didn't, all of this radioactive fallout would get into the atmosphere. And then, anytime it rains like this, you could be getting, the essentially irradiated rain. It would contaminate the entire. Realistically, especially with the size of this map, this right here being uncontained, the entire map would get irradiated eventually. Because this is just left to smolder and burn, and none of this is getting cleaned up at all. Okay, there's the wall, so that is, yeah, essentially. I want to just go south. Just south. There's a thing. Ah, great. Okay, Rarg. Oh, there's a car park here, it looks like. Oh, goody. Oh, crap. Uh-oh. Well, this could be a bit of a problem. It's fine. I really should have put the plow or the spikes on this quad, but that's okay. Oh, good. More friendos. So as you can see, there are still a decent number of puppets here. So if you do decide to come here... Ouch! I would highly recommend you come armed. Ouch! Ow! I guess for doing this, I really should turn the puppet damage off. Okay, are we good enough now? Can you guys leave me alone? Thank you. Okay, so we... Go away. Also, I'm cold now. Yep, more radiation. Well, we'll deal with that later. If we get irradiated enough, maybe you guys will get to see what happens when you accumulate too much radiation. Man, I really wish I could see. Now, I don't know what this building is. This one's different. How about we go with the boomstick? How about that? Okay, this is just kind of a storage building, it looks like. Yeah, nothing super interesting here. God, I really hope you guys are able to see. The screen for the recording software says that you guys ought to be able to see. The hell, the headlamp is not doing anything now. Really? Why? Why is the headlamp doing nothing? It was working before, you guys remember. Oh, good grief, that's just terrible. And that's as bright as, good grief, that's as bright as this flashlight gets. Man, that's just not good at all. I mean, I guess it gives you a slight sense of direction when, okay, this is a hospital here. But again, it's completely stripped. That really should not happen. There should still be a lot of stuff here. You know, realistically, that's how it should be for most of the map. There should be a decent amount of stuff still all over the place. But I get it, the kind of idea for the rest of the map is, well, people have already come through and looted. You know, but here, that should not be the case. Oh, good. It's raining harder now. Fantastic. Okay, well, I see some tall things over yonder ways. And what direction is that? That is southwest, so that's kind of this way. I still want to just go west. Now, I keep circling around this big area down here, and I want to see what's actually over here. If anything, there may not be anything. Go this way. Stop going back towards the apartment buildings and whatnot. Yeah, so this, I guess, is just kind of a park. You know what? That one there. Wow, those help dramatically, don't they? This place is just really difficult to see anything in. But yeah, so we do have a park here. Here, actually, is kind of a cool little place. They had bumper cars. Oh, let's stop and check out the bumper cars. Why not? Might as well. So, these lights are still on. And this is just run off of batteries. You know, batteries or a, fuel-based generator. I don't know if this would be gas or diesel. Probably, well, I don't know. Probably gas. Either way, the lights still work. So clearly this should have happened extremely recently, and yet look at the overgrowth. This place has very clearly been abandoned for years. Realistically, this looks like something out of The Last of Us. You know, where it's been abandoned for 20 years or so. That light really doesn't help at all, does it? You know, so like I said, I feel like they didn't really know what they wanted to do with this place. I feel like they need to take away the massive levels of radiation. It can still be mildly irradiated. But like with Pripyat now, you can go there without protective gear for short periods of time. You know, but like I said, as overgrown as this place is, it's clearly meant to have been abandoned for many years, and yet stuff like these lights are still working. The street lights are still working that should have been powered by the nuclear reactor that exploded. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and it bugs me. I'll be honest, it does. Okay, here's another really creepy little playground. And more apartment buildings, of course. What direction we need to go? We need to go due west. So we need to go that way. I mean, technically we need to go south still as well. But I can't remember where the... Oh, well, there it is right there. That's perfect. Right here is that iconic Ferris wheel. This right here is kind of what I wanted to find the first time I came here. Was I wanted to see if it had, the Ferris wheel. I wanted to see if it had, a park, this kind of stuff that looks like what you see, you know, the iconic images when you think of Chernobyl and Pripyat. And so, like I said, this kind of stuff here just pretty well confirms that this is meant to be modeled as directly as possible on Chernobyl and Pripyat. And yet electricity still works. And the reactor is still on fire. And as overgrown as this all is, and none of the radiation having been contained, none of the rest of the map is irradiated. You know, I'm pretty sure they didn't think it through. They just thought, hey, let's make an irradiated city because Chernobyl seems like it would be, it seems like a very post-apocalyptic place because realistically it is. So let's make that and put that in the game. But let's not think about how to actually do it. Let's just bloop, drop it in the game. Well, that's creepy. You know, I think that, honestly, with 1.0, I hope what they do is they clean up the radiation here. Like Tech 1 comes in, they clean up the radiation, contain everything to where the radiation levels will be less. But now the place will be guarded by military personnel. You know, not sentries. We don't need more sentries. Just take the sentries out of the game as far as I'm concerned. But Tech 1 personnel would be guarding this area. But there would actually be loot in here. You know, and you could get loot from in here that would just be extremely low levels of radiation that you know, wouldn't really drastically affect your character unless you go into the actual reactor building. You know, if you go to the reactor area, then yeah, you're going to get irradiated. But just wandering around the city here, you could do that without the hazmat gear, but, you know, if you stay here for an extended period of time, then bad stuff is probably going to happen. Okay, well, let's see. West is that way. I don't know if there's more stuff in this park area or not. I know that somewhere, and I think that's down in this area somewhere, there is like a stadium with like a racetrack and everything. I remember that from my other video. Oh, can I get through? Yes, I can. Beautiful. Can I get through there? Yay! Okay, so this park is not huge or anything. Fair enough. Fair enough. And these are probably, well, I don't know what these are. Let's just poke our head in here real quick. There's really not a whole lot of reason to explore a lot of these buildings. I'm not sure what this building's supposed to be. If it's supposed to be like maybe a school or I mean, there's chairs for like waiting rooms or not necessarily waiting rooms, but you know, we got locker rooms in here, swimming pool. So yeah, I would guess that this was probably a school. But why is all of this storage stuff brought in here? Why is there military crates in here? You know, just a lot of the implementation for this whole POI was not really well thought out, in my opinion. You know, they thought, hey, it'd be a cool looking place, and that's about as far as the thought process went. And I mean, they're right, it is a cool looking place, but again, the big city in, you know, D3, D4, you know, it has this same kind of vibe, particularly at night when it's foggy. I think they could have had this exact same feeling had they just made the city foggy. I know that a lot of PvPers did not like that, because I think they did that at one point, if memory serves, where they made the map foggy. I don't remember if that was for one of the Halloween events or what, but I think they did that, and a lot of PvPers were not happy about it because the fog made it hard to see anybody from a distance, so they were just running around blind. They couldn't, you know, hey, there's somebody over there, I'm going to go chase them down and shoot them. It was, I can't see anybody, and I'm going the complete wrong direction. Oh! No! Oh no, excuse me for just a second, we're turning him off there. I'm gonna go ahead and turn puppet damage off as well. Cause, yeah, let's see, turn off damage to vehicles too. Yep, here we go. What the hell? Why is he not blowing up? Never mind, there he goes. Why did he not blow up sooner, though? Why did he stop right here and just sit here and laugh at me without blowing up? Huh. Interesting. Anyway. I didn't expect them to be here. What direction are we going now? Perfect, that's the direction I want to go. Except I can't because there's a fence here. Okay, and we have what looks like more residential. And... What? How... South... Okay, that's back through the park. I don't really want to go back through the park, but that's, in theory, the shortest route to get where we want to go. Yeah, it's like, why are there the bomb puppets in here? You know, why is Mr. Happy here? Realistically, I think it'd be interesting to have some different enemy types that are wandering around here. If this whole place is irradiated, and in theory has been irradiated for a while now, given the growth and whatnot, there should be, you know, some kind of mutated enemies out here. You know, the developers teased some kind of mutant creatures a good while back that they've never really followed up on or even mentioned again. You know, and so I'm hoping that maybe they're going to add something like that here, and that would also add to the whole purpose of the military presence here. You know, I still think that would be the way to go, is make this, you know, get okay, so here we're on the racetrack, apparently. Yep, here we go. We got stadium seating over here. Beautiful. And of course, now the weather clears up when we're not in the middle of the frickin' woods. But anywho, I mean, these have been destroyed for a long time. But, you know, if they got rid of the radiation because, let's say, Tech 1 cleans it up, you know, they contain the reactor, all of that. The reactor now becomes a military POI. And then this place just has mutant creatures wandering around instead of just the same old generic puppets. You know, give us the give us the mutant creatures that they teased, you know, a year or so ago, or maybe longer than that even. But, you know, give us something like that in here just to set this place apart from the other city. You know, realistically, this place is worse than the other city. Not just from the standpoint of the radiation, but just in terms of the loot. There's nothing really here. I don't even know that there's a police department. I see a market over there. We can go check that out real quick. But you know, I don't know that there's a police department here. There's not all of the different gun shops. There's not, you know, any of the stores or anything like that here that there are in Samabor or Samber or whatever. I don't know. That city. I'm just gonna call it the big city. Oh, I got squeaky boots. But there's really absolutely nothing here worth anything. It's just a tourist destination. And it's a crappy tourist destination because it's irradiated. You know, but there's no reason whatsoever to come to the city. Where was that market? Where was the market? Ow. I believe the market was over this way, because we were on the far end when we saw the market sign, so it should be over this way. There it is, right there. Now, if there is a police station or some such here somewhere, you know, let me know. Again, not that it really does us any good, because I can pretty well guarantee that it would just have basic, generic military loot, or police loot, like the regular ones do, so no reason to check it. But, and then see, how does that open? I mean, I guess you could say that, well, you pried it open, but I don't know. But again, this should realistically still be pretty full. You know, now all of the food would be irradiated, most of it would be, you know, utterly spoiled. But realistically, nobody would have come in here to loot food. You know, when the meltdown at the reactor happens, they get evacuated immediately. All of this stuff would still likely be here to some degree, and yet there's absolutely nothing. You know, so I don't know. I hope that they do something to make this place worthwhile, because it's really not worth it at all to have it. All it's done is made part of the map more or less a no-go zone. And it doesn't really add anything, because the reactor building, all it adds as far as I know, is the depleted uranium for crafting armor-piercing ammo. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's other ways you could craft armor-piercing ammo besides depleted uranium. I mean, most armor-piercing ammunition now, as far as I know, doesn't use depleted uranium. You know, most of it's going to be like some kind of hardened tip. You know, either steel. I think maybe they do tungsten for some of them. I could be completely wrong on that. A lot of times they'll just have a steel core in the bullet instead of a lead core. You know, a lead core for a bullet, when it hits a, hardened armor plate, even if it's just a ceramic plate, it will deform some. In theory, anyway. So if you put a harder core in it, like steel, instead of lead, then it's not going to deform nearly as much. And so in theory, it will have a better chance to penetrate the armor. The whole point is the fact that we can craft our own ammo means that we ought to be able to craft something. If we have the option of crafting armor-piercing ammunition, which I'm still not even convinced that we should have that option. You know, if you're crafting ammunition, it in my opinion, should just be, regular ammunition. But if the whole point of this entire place, of making the entirety of C0 essentially unusable for anything whatsoever, if the whole purpose of that is just to get depleted uranium so that you can craft armor-piercing ammo, rather than buying it from a trader, or finding it yourself, that just seems like a really poor implementation. I mean, again, this took a lot of work. A lot of work. And yet all it's done is make a chunk of the map unusable. You know, that campground, I would really like to be able to build a base there. This city could be cool if it wasn't, heavily irradiated. Like I said, if they even just took the radiation away and had it guarded by military personnel when they add in the NPCs, that would give, especially PvPers, a whole nother big city area to explore, as opposed to just having this one. Also, I think if they're not going to remove the radiation, take this campground and just move it down river a ways. Put it, down here or something. Over here. Just, heck, even just down to the fork here. And take away the radiation. Like beyond this bridge here or something. I don't know. I feel like they completely destroyed that POI, which a lot of people seem to like. They made this whole area just utterly useless. And the only reason for this area here is the depleted uranium. So, I don't know, it seems like a whole lot of effort for nothing of value added. Which, unfortunately, kind of seems to be the way the devs have gone with the game over the past year, maybe 2 years. The whole rework for the horde system, to implement the horde system for the spawning system. They completely overhauled the spawning system, and it didn't improve the game. In fact, pretty much everybody agrees that it made the game worse. But, oh well, I guess. And then the modular vehicles. Why did they have to take all of the vehicles out of the game to make them modular? Couldn't they make the assets modular outside of the game? And then have an update where they just replace the non-modular assets with the modular assets? That seems like it would have made more sense to me, but I'm not a programmer, so I don't know if that's feasible or not. I just know that, like, when I go into, like, my private server for, like, DayZ, I can go in and modify the files, you know, the JSON files, asset files, all of that fun stuff. I can do that without it actually affecting the game until I, you know, save those changes, reboot the server with those changes in. It seems to me like they could just rewrite the programming code for this stuff outside of the game and then add those assets in later on. You know, I don't really see why they had to take all of the vehicles out and then take the next 2 or 3 years adding them back in one at a time. You know, but that's just me. Now, we're out here now. We got Phoenix Tears. Let's go ahead and inject those. I can't do that on the quad, but that should heal the radiation. I believe. Fix that for me, please. Okay, well, it took the radiation down to 0, but it didn't put it into stabilization. I mean, it may go ahead and do that here shortly, regardless. But I wanted to see, because this looks like it's not irradiated here. Yeah, got nothing. Ditch that. Okay. So it seems like this area here might actually be safe. Which it should be. I think the radiation might kind of end once you cross into B0. I could be wrong there, though. But either way, we're far enough away that we're not in the irradiated zone anymore. But anywho, I've rambled long enough. Most of you probably clicked off the video by now anyway, but yeah, that was the irradiated city. Like I said, it's kind of an interesting place. It's absolutely pointless. There's no reason whatsoever for it to exist other than the devs thought that it would look cool, at least as far as I can tell. Hopefully they do something else with it in 1.0 or shortly thereafter. They've been teasing a new high loot POI that they're going to be adding soon, but they've given absolutely no hints as to what it would be. Honestly, some people have said, hey, a resort, because they teased a resort a long time ago. I don't really see that a resort would add anything. It's going to have a whole bunch of civilian gear and whatnot. Alcohol, food, stuff like that maybe. Nothing that you can't find in any small town. I hope that they rework the irradiated zone. Make that into a more useful POI. Add some different enemy types. Add a military presence with armed NPCs. And you could have a really, really interesting POI, as opposed to the utter wasteland of uselessness that we have right now. But anyway, that's just my opinion. But that is going to do it for this episode. Let me know what you guys think of this kind of Explorer series. I'm making it into sort of a series that there's no, order or rhyme or reason to it. It's just, if there's places you guys would like to see me explore, or if there's just places that I think are cool in the game and I just want to explore those without really going in saying, hey, we're going to hit this place to try and look for, specific loot or, base building stuff or anything. It's just, hey, this is a cool place to check out. You know, that's kind of what this is. It's not going to be any real organized series or a season or anything like that. Um, but let me know what you guys think of that kind of idea for some videos, and if there's other places you would like to see me explore. Also, let me know what your guys' opinions are on the irradiated city and the whole irradiated zone and whatnot. Like I said, to me, it's kind of cool, but it's like there's no reason to actually go there other than to see it. And so you could go there, see it, and then never go back there again. And you wouldn't be missing anything. So it's just kind of a ginormous waste of effort as far as I'm concerned. But I keep saying I'm going to stop talking. So I'm actually going to stop talking now, other than I'm going to plug the links in the description as per usual. We've got St. Jude Children's Hospital and Wounded Warrior Project, both linked in the description. So if you would like to support either of those charities, go check out those links. Then we have my Discord server, where you can just talk to me more directly than in the comment section. There's also other people on my Discord server. It's kind of tied to the Wolfpack SCUM Discord server, which is also linked in the description. That's the multiplayer SCUM server that I do all the live streams on. It's a PvE server. And, pretty much everybody on there is pretty helpful. You don't have to worry about getting shot in the face. If you need help, getting geared up, finding a vehicle, etc., we've got people that like to help with that kind of stuff. And we are looking at occasionally doing some more PvP style events, similar to the base raid thing that we did recently. Or maybe even just some of the kind of more generic SCUM of it. Well, you can't even do that on single player. But, they just like team deathmatch, capture the flag, that type of thing, just as kind of a community thing every now and then. But anyway, it's a pretty laid-back server. So if that sounds like a good fit for you, check out that link. And then check out the rules that we have listed for it. And if it all sounds like it's acceptable to you, then contact either myself or Necros. He is the server owner, and we will get you set up with the password. And then finally, we have my wife's YouTube channel, where she does rain videos, relaxation videos, paranormal videos, which some of those are informational videos on paranormal locations, and some are actual evidence that we have collected during our paranormal investigations. And then we also do our family live streams over on her channel, where we play games like Phasmophobia, Demonologist, and we're looking at a couple others, maybe a Storm Chaser type game, that kind of thing. But, just fun multiplayer games. So if that sounds interesting at all to you, go check out her channel. And other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.